Podcast. I'm Curtis, and as always, I am joined by my co host, RJ, who successfully raises two kids who are now thriving adults.
hmm Thanks, Curtis. And today's topic is one I remember all too well. What do you do when your kids start saying things like school is boring, or I'm stressed, or I just can't handle it?
That's right. So if you're listening because your kid is struggling with school right now, you're in the right place. We're gonna we're going to break this down and give you actual strategies you can use today.
Yep. And I'm bringing the hindsight of wisdom of someone who's actually been through it. And I'd like to think I survived.
Right, for sure. Let's dive in then, RJ. So picture this: your kid walks in, drops the backpack with a dramatic thud, and says, "School is so boring." What's your first
hmm
reaction?
Yep. And me, like most parents, I think you jump right into fix it mode, right? What's wrong? Let me talk to your teacher, but I sometimes learned that that's not the right way to react, that they sometimes just need to vent first. Yeah, it looks like Curtis might be frozen. He did mention he was having some tech issues this morning.
Yep, that's right. So listening before fixing, right? Sounds good. All right, we're back.
Yep, we're back.
All right. You want to start back? Just say starting before fixing.
Yep. So that's the plan, right? So listening before fixing, right? And then ask open up ended questions like, what makes you feel that way, right? My son, used to think math was boring, but after we talked, it's just that he didn't understand a certain portion and felt left behind, right? Boring was easier to stay than I just don't get it.
Yeah. So boring can mean different things, right?
Right. Like four main things. First, the work is too easy. My daughter was reading at a sixth grade level by the time she was in third grade and was
Wow.
genuinely understimulated, right? So, second, it's hard. It's too hard. She later struggled with algebra and checked out emotionally. Third, they don't see the
Mhm.
relevance, right? When will I use this? And then fourth, teaching style doesn't match how they learn. My son is hands on. Lectures don't work for his brain. He needs to see things and put it into action right away. So learning styles definitely, change the way we look at our kids look at things.
Yeah, for sure. I know that when will I use this is a big question for my daughter as well because she doesn't see the purpose of it. And they try to explain
hmm
it, right? So you kind of got to be a detective and you got to ask, like, boring in all classes or just one? What do you find interesting in the
hmm
classes that she does like, right? So,
Yeah, ask probing questions, right? Because again, the word is not it's boring. There's something deeper going on, and we got to root that out, right? And the answers they give you tell you what you're dealing with.
okay. So what you did when your daughter wasn't being challenged enough? What do you do?
Well, this is a time where you schedule a meeting with the teacher, right? But make sure that it's collaborative, right? Say
Hmm.
things like, I've noticed she's expressing some boredom. Is there any way we could provide additional challenges, right? Her teacher was great, gave her advanced books, and let her help mentor struggling students.
Oh, nice. That even helps her even better. So she got the challenge and she was able to help others. That's fantastic.
Yep. And my daughter is now, not only is she in personal develop or not personal development, but personal self care or care for people,
Yep.
but she teaches people as well, right? And she got that experience a long time ago. It was a win win for her, right? But it also enriched our home, right?
Hmm.
Library cards, online courses, author talks, all of these helped. And she joined a robotics team and she was constantly challenged.
Oh yeah, the robotics thing is fun. I got my daughter do that once and she really enjoyed it too. And what about when boring meant struggling?
Yeah, like with my daughter's algebra, I noticed she'd avoid homework, right? Call math stupid.
Yep.
And her grades actually started to slip. So we sat down with her, not just during homework stress, and then asked if she felt like she was understanding it, right?
Right. It's funny how kids say something stupid when they don't get it. But as parents, we
Mhm.
have to be non-judgmental and approach it that way.
Absolutely. She admitted she'd been lost for weeks, right? We got her a
Hmm.
tutor and we also had her evaluated for learning differences. Turned out she had some processing challenges with multiple step problems. Once she got accommodations, understood how her brain just worked differently, everything seemed to change from that moment.
Okay, so the key is get support early, tutors, teachers, evaluations, and don't let them struggle alone.
And then help them break work into smaller chunks, right? Use timers, celebrate their wins.
Yeah, for sure. Well, let's move on to the next one. Let's talk about stress because this is different from boredom and needs immediate action.
Yeah. Watch for the physical signs, right? Headaches, stomach aches, trouble sleeping. My daughter got headaches before big tests.
Oh, wow.
Emotional signs, irritability, crying, easily withdrawing from activities and that they usually normally love to do, right?
Right. So, what causes stress for kids then, RJ?
Well, first of all, the workloads of our school, we know for our kids, especially with the amount of homework they get, it's a heavy workload, right?
Hmm.
And then there's tests anxiety, right? How many kids get sick the day they have a test?
Quite a few, yeah.
Social drama, too much going on at the school, too many extracurriculars, trying to keep up with dance class, music, and
Hmm.
art class, things like that. That we're trying to keep our kids busy, but just when they're overwhelmed by homework and all that, we
Yep.
sometimes miss it. We accidentally add it to well-meaning pressure, right? I wanted my kids to succeed so badly that I didn't realize I was actually adding stress.
Yeah, that's pretty honest there, RJ. So, how do you reduce it?
First, well-balanced diet and sleep and nutrition.
Yep.
Um, a tired, hungry kid can't handle stress, right?
No.
So we enforced bedtimes and don't say, okay, it's 9 o'clock, you need to go to sleep, right? But you know
Right.
what? It's 9 o'clock. It's time to be in your bed and wind down for the night. You know what I mean? So even though
Yep.
as teenagers, they fight you on this, right? Second,
Hmm.
downtime. When kids are overscheduled, soccer, piano, debate, volunteering, we cut back and they were actually happier.
Oh, wow, that's pretty counterintuitive to our culture, right? Because we always are told to work
Right.
hard, do more, do more. But this has actually helped your kid then, did it?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. A stressed and burned out kid won't thrive anyways, right? And then third, teach coping strategies, deep breathing before tests, journaling from my daughter, running from my son. And I had to model it myself, showing how I deal with work stress, right?
Oh, nice. So, what about reframing the failures that they've came up on?
Absolutely critical. I started sharing my own failures, right? Times when I bombed presentations or didn't get promotions. I talked about what I learned. Once my kids understood failure was part of learning, they were less afraid to try and fail.
Right on. So, when should parents escalate beyond home strategies?
Mhm. Look, if it's not getting better after a few weeks, involve the school. Talk to teachers or
Mhm.
counselors. Keep it collaborative. So here's what I'm saying. Go to your teachers and counselors and say, hey, look, here's what I'm seeing. What are you seeing? How can we work together? What is a possible solution? So you work it out as a team because that's what they're there for. They know your child just as well as you do sometimes, right?
Yep,
They see problems that you don't. So um, work with them, document everything, and then follow up.
that's a good plan. So, when does stress become a mental health issue? What do you think about that?
Well, we want to watch for the red flags, right?
Yep,
Dramatic behavior changes, right? My daughter doesn't behave like that. What's going on,
yep,
right? When they're withdrawing from everything, they don't want to do what they normally love, right? And then,
yep,
meltdowns, physical symptoms can show up with no medical cause, right? And then they talk of things like hopelessness and I'll
yep,
never get this. And so, um, you know, panic attacks, right?
yep.
Sometimes they stop seeing their friends. And that's when, we need to seek professional help.
Yeah, for sure, definitely. Those are pretty good signs to indicators to be aware of, right? And did
Mhm.
therapy make a difference for her?
Absolutely, and I modeled that one myself as well. With I was frustrated, angry at one point, and sought therapy. So talking to the kids about therapy, it opened up their lives, right? And then once they started talking to someone, they learned coping skills. They learned how to support. We learned how to support her, and
Hmm.
like I said, she's thriving now. So the message is don't wait. Right? If you're worried, reach out to your pediatrician or a therapist who specializes in kids.
That's excellent, RJ. Thanks for that. All right, so let's end this with some positivity. What can parents do to cultivate a loving of learning at home?
Hmm. Connect learning to their interests, right? My
Hmm.
son loved video games, so we explored coding, game designing, and storytelling elements. And of course, he got to use those math skills, right?
Yep,
And then suddenly he's interested in programming and getting involved in building gaming, right?
yep, for sure. So I guess the learning felt more relevant because it was more connected to something that he liked, right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And change how you ask about school instead of saying how was school, which gets like a fine,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
you know, it was okay, right?
Hmm.
Ask something like, what's something that made you think today? Or did you help anyone today?
Yep, yeah, those are good questions, RJ. And it helps them to invite them to a deeper conversation instead of just the regular questions, right?
Right, because we all want, that's why we asked the question in the first place, right? We want to know our kids and help our kids. So you know, this helps celebrate curiosity, right? When they ask questions, even inconvenient ones, they say, I don't know, let's find out together, right?
Yep,
So
yep,
make learning experimental or experiential, sorry. Go to museums, watch documentaries, do cooking together. I know you do
yep,
that one, Curtis,
yep.
right?
I do. Yep, we
When my
love it.
daughter complained about fractions, we started baking so that she can
Hmm.
understand fractions. Suddenly, fractions have a purpose. How do you apply them to life? You use them in day to day activities, right?
Yep, yeah, that's fantastic because my daughter understands fractions and had to add them now just by using a measuring cup, right? That's perfect.
Hmm.
This is brilliant, brilliant stuff there, RJ.
And it shows interest in what they're learning, right?
Hmm.
Ask them to teach you something because Bob Proctor says we never know something until we can teach it to others, right?
Yep,
Kids love feeling like the expert.
excellent, RJ. This has been such a great conversation today. Any final thoughts for parents in the thick of this, perhaps?
Yeah, first of all, you're not alone. Almost every single parent has to deal with this stuff, right? Second, be patient. This is a process. You're not going to figure out things immediately, right? Some things take time, work through it, but be patient in the process.
Yep, for sure. And always give yourself grace.
Absolutely. You're going to make mistakes, right? I made plenty, and my kids are still going strong today, right? But showing
Yep,
up and caring is what matters most.
for so true, RJ. Remember, folks, if your kid is saying school is boring or stressful, they're giving you information. They're opening a door just for you to help.
Yeah. And they just don't know how to express it to you, right? And then listen without fixing it right away. Dig into what's really going on. Ask them questions. Don't be afraid to get help when you need it.
Yep. So remember, folks, everything's going to be all right. Thanks for listening to the Parent Support Circle podcast today. If this has helped you, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, hit that like button, and of course, ring that bell so you are notified when a new episode comes up.
Yeah. And head over to Facebook, leave a comment, and tell us your stories. What's worked for you? What challenges are you facing right now? We're all in this together, and hopefully, we can take this up on another episode.
And if you're looking for ongoing community support of parents who get it, join our Parent Support Circle at www.parentsupportcircle.com. And then we got some good resources there for you guys as well.
Mhm. And until next time, remember, you're doing better than you think.
And your kids are lucky to have you as a parent.
Mhm.
Thank you guys and take
Yep.
care.
Yep. See you next time.
All right.